Route 66 was an indirect spin-off of Naked City made by the same creators, Herbert B. Leonard and Sterling Siliphant. It ran from 1960 to 64 with 116 episodes. The show follows Tod Stiles, who decides to travel throughout the United States in his car. He's joined by his best friend Buzz Murdoch, later replaced with the character Lincoln Case. Keep watching to learn how each Route 66 cast member died. Martin Millner. Martin Millner was born December 28, 1931 in Detroit. He had Polish-Jewish immigrant parents, circuit dancer Mildred and film distributor Sam Gordon. The family moved often and settled in Seattle when he was 9. That's where he nourished an interest in acting. He got involved in school and then in a children's group at the Cornish Playhouse. Martin moved again with his family to Los Angeles when he was a teen. His parents noticed his talent and hired him an acting coach and got him an agent. His first on-screen appearance was in the 1947 film Life with Father. He contracted polio a year after that, but recovered within a year. When he was back to full health, Martin had small parts in 2 more films. He graduated from North Hollywood High School in 1949. He landed a minor role in Sands of Iwo Jima that same year. He then continued his education at University of Southern California, but dropped out in 1950 to focus on acting. His first TV appearance came that year when he guest starred on the 28th episode of The Lone Ranger. He also got a recurring role as Drexel Potter on The Stu Irwin Show. He appeared in war films like Operation Pacific and Mr. Roberts. Martin served for 2 years in the Army in 1952. He was part of the Special Services at Fort Ord and directed training films. He performed and emceed skits to entertain the soldiers. He also continued playing characters on the Dragnet radio series and 6 episodes of the TV series from 1952 to 55. Martin did get back to work after the war and got a recurring role in The Life of Riley from 1953 to 58. He was cast as Tod Stiles in Route 66 in 1960. He played the character for the entirety of its run. It was shot on location, so he spent 4 years traveling the U.S. He occasionally brought his family with him. He met singer and actress Judith Bess Jones at a dinner party in May of 1956. They were married in 1957 and had 4 children. His oldest daughter, Amy, who guest starred on an episode of Adam 12, died of leukemia in December of 2004. Adam 12 was another one of Martin's most successful roles. His strong working relationship with Jack Webb helped him get the part of Officer Peter Joseph. The show's plots were based on real LAPD cases, and it ran from 1968 to 75. He got another continuous part after Adam 12 ended, appearing in the series The Swiss Family Robinson, which ran from 75 to 76. His later work included guest parts on shows like MacGyver, Airwolf, Murder, She Wrote, and RoboCop. He joined the fishing radio show Let's Talk Hookup after retiring from acting. He also returned to Route 66 one final time for the documentary Route 66 Return to the Road with Martin Miller in 1998. It saw him driving a 1961 Corvette from Chicago to Santa Monica. Martin Millner died at home at the age of 83 from heart failure on September 6, 2015. George Maharis. George Maharis was born September 1, 1928 in Astoria, Queens. He attended Flushing High School and served in the Marine Corps for 18 months. He eventually nourished his passion for acting at the Actors Studio in New York. He appeared in off-Broadway productions, feeling the smaller productions carried a stigma that affected his theater career forever, but his talent didn't go unnoticed. One critic called his performance in the October 1958 production of Death Watch as, quote, correctly volatile, harsh, and stunning. He later performed in the first U.S. production of The Zoo Story. After that, he moved on to television and film. His roles included Studio One, Kraft Television Theater, Goodyear Television Playhouse, Naked City, Exodus, and the soap opera Search for Tomorrow. He was described in his early career as a tough personality in the tradition of Humphrey Bogart and John Garfield. He played Buzz Murdoch in the first 3 seasons of Route 66. It earned him an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actor in 1962. He left after 82 episodes before completing the 3rd season. Allegations arose that he did so to move to films or to hide his sexuality. He cited health problems, hepatitis. The long hours and hazards of shooting on location were too much for him, and the pay wasn't enough to keep him around either. He said in a 1963 interview that, quote, "Even if you have $4 million in the bank, you can't buy another liver." George was healthy enough to perform in several films after leaving the show. They included Quick Before It Melts, The Satan Bug, Sylvia, A Covenant with Death, and Desperados in 1969. He returned to TV in 1970 in The Most Deadly Game. It lasted for a year and 13 episodes. He even went back to the theater in the 1967 production of Barefoot in the Park and the 1973 touring companies of Company and I Oughta Be in Pictures. He had a show in Las Vegas in the 80s, and the 1993 film Doppelganger was one of his final film roles. He also released music albums, and the only top 40 hit from them was his cover of Teach Me Tonight. It reached number 25 on the charts. He also performed in nightclubs and was an impressionist painter for several years. George Maharis died from his long struggle with hepatitis on May 24, 2023. His brother Robert, who also works in the film industry as a location manager, survived him. He's remembered as a devoted method actor. He intentionally wore a pair of vision-impairing contact lenses for the Route 66 episode Even the Stones Have Eyes. He wanted to sell the idea that his character had temporarily lost his vision. Glen Corbett. Glen Corbett was born August 17, 1933. Acting wasn't his first career choice, but a nudge from a loved one helped him take the plunge. He met his wife Judy at Occidental College in Los Angeles. She was the first one to notice his talent and encouraged him to try out for plays on campus. He was performing in one when a talent scout took notice of him as well. They signed him with Columbia Pictures. His film debut was in 1959's The Crimson Kimono. After that, he appeared in films such as The Mountain Road, Man on a String, and All the Young Men in 1960. He played the lead on 1961's Homicidal and appeared in 1965's Shenandoah. Other films included Chisholm, Big Lake, and Nashville Girl, as well as Midway. Glen finally moved to TV when he replaced George Maharis on Route 66 in 1963. He played veteran Link Case. He did his best, but wasn't able to capture the magic of the two original leads. Route 66 was canceled soon after in March of 1964. The role did put his talent on display and expanded his TV opportunities. He played the lead in 12 O'Clock High for 2 episodes. Glen's later guest spots on TV were plentiful. He appeared on episodes of some of the biggest shows of his time, including Gunsmoke, Bonanza, The Legend of Jesse James, The Virginian, and even Star Trek. He got a more permanent role on the daytime soap opera The Doctors from 1976 to 81. He was also a recurring guest star on Dallas from 1983 to 84, and again from 86 to 88. Glen Corbett died at age 59 from lung cancer on January 16, 1993. Now it's time to hear from you. Were you a fan of Route 66? Who was your favorite character? Let us know in the comments section below.